She the queen, yeah, that's Queen Esquire. Legal trouble, she getting you out the fire. Another day and she solving another case. Cause she litigate with dignity and grace. She the queen, yeah, that's Queen Esquire. Legal trouble, she getting you out the fire. Another day and she solving another case. Cause she litigate with dignity and grace.
Hey Barbie, Chloe, period I, period 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 period I, got my name up in your mouth, you don't know no better. Don't forget I'm from the south, yeah, I got them headers. You watching everything I do, studying all of my moves. Wish you could do what I do. Period I, period period I, period period I, period period I, period.
Hello, litigators and opinionators. Court is now in session. Hello, everybody. I'm pretty sure you've heard the news. I'm pretty sure you've already been talking about this tragedy that has happened this past weekend. You guys, this case is crazy. There is a war going on in Memphis, as you guys are all aware. I've already kind of posted some TikTok videos on my page, kind of going over some of the background information. But I wanted to come on and have a discussion with you guys about this to get your input on it. Because I don't know, I'm kind of have mixed feelings about it. And I kind of feel sad about our generation and how a lot of people in our generation celebrate death of an individual. And I just find that to be kind of alarming. So this is kind of like a open discussion about that topic, but I want to kind of go into the background if we have any new viewers who have never heard about this story and they're just like, who are these people? Because a lot of people aren't really familiar with rap like that. So basically, let's get into the parties involved in this. This man on the screen, his name is Big Jook, also known as Anthony Mims. He is from Memphis, Tennessee. And if anybody knows anything about Memphis, Tennessee is a straight war zone out there. It's not the safest place to be anywhere, basically, over there. I remember visiting Memphis, Tennessee last year, and I said I would never go back to that place again. It was just not a good experience for me. So, and actually, I was at a club that time when I visited, and I saw Yo Gotti's sister there. Yo Gotti's sister was in the club when I was there. And I was with a gentleman who was with me while I was there. And I was like, oh, I want to meet her because she's Yo Gotti's sister. And he was like so paranoid. I didn't understand why at the time. But now seeing what happened to Big Jook, now I get why he was so panicky. I remember wanting to meet Yo Gotti's sister when I was at the club. And my friend was like, no, we can't be around her because you know, he was explaining to me what was going on in Memphis at the time last year. And he was saying that there's a lot of people looking to try to basically unalive anyone who is related to Yo Gotti because of what happened to young Dolph, the rapper, young Dolph. If anybody knew him, he was from Memphis. He was a very well-known rapper in Memphis who was kind of in a back and forth battle between Yo Gotti and himself. That's basically led to his demise. It was very tragic. And I kind of want to delve into that to kind of explain why we are here today with a new tragedy that happened to Big Jook, the individual who lost his life this weekend, and the crazy way he did. It was just kind of ironic how he lost his life. That's why I kind of want to talk with you guys about it to get your input. Hopefully you guys will take part and talk about it with me. But anywho, let's try to give some background to those people who don't know what the heck is going on in this case. So basically everybody knows about Yo Gotti. He is, well-known rapper. I am not into the rapper world, y'all. So y'all know more about Yo Gotti than me, but all I know is he owns this record label called CMG. His real name is Mario Centel Gideon Mims. He was born in 1981. He is an American rapper, if anybody knows him. And, a lot of people like him. He founded the record label Collective Music Group, which has gone on to sign successful artists, including Moneybagg Yo, 42 Doug, Black Youngsta, Glorilla, SG, and Mozzie. So his career dated back to 2000. But he wanted to be known as the king of Memphis, the king rapper of Memphis. I don't know why these men be getting into these prideful debates about who is the king of what. But this tragedy and this war that basically is leading to a lot of bloodshed in this modern time is all related to words. There's that saying, stick and stones may break my bones, but words would never hurt me. Well, guys, that's not true. It's not true. In the Black community, when you say certain words, it can lead to death. And a lot of these stories that we cover on this channel has demonstrated that. There was actually a story I covered last year with a man who was on Facebook who used to use words basically to cuss out people online. And while he was going off on somebody on his live, y'all, why did the person pull up and shoot? I mean, just straight shot that man multiple times, y'all. It was a hot mess. Okay. So words do affect people in the Black community. People are dying over words. And that's what basically happened in this tragedy, but I kind of want to get into it. So Yo Gotti wanted to sign how this whole thing, let's just talk about how it all started, okay? So basically, Yo Gotti is known to sign a lot of the very well-known rappers in Memphis a lot of times. The ones that are well-known, man, he reminds me of, he's reminding me a lot of, what is that one guy, guys, that used to own that record label? The light-skinned dude. What is it? Is it Suge Knight? No, it's not Suge Knight. Is it Suge Knight? Is it him, guys? Let me know. It might be Suge Knight. It is Suge Knight. You remember Suge Knight? They're kind of parallel to each other. I feel like Yo Gotti is similar to Suge Knight. They had these very thug-like record labels, and if people didn't do what they wanted them to do, for somehow these rappers ended up straight dead. Suge Knight is now serving a life sentence. He will not be out of jail for his hot mess. Thug life caught up with him. But when I think of Yo Gotti, I think of Yo Gotti as the modern, and you guys can disagree with me on this because I'm not really well known and well versed in rap, but I think of Yo Gotti as analogous to the modern Suge Knight. And I'll just give a picture of Suge Knight just in case people don't know who he is. Some people are not into rap, so let's just give a quick picture of Suge Knight. He kind of reminds me of Suge Knight because Suge Knight also had his own record label. And it seems like it kind of the way they ran it was in a very violent manner. Like if people didn't do what they wanted them to do or stepped on certain toes, money wise or in the record label, when people wanted to leave his record label, some of them turned up dead. I mean, it was a hot mess. And now he is now a convicted felon because of that. So I feel like in back in the day, so he founded Death Row Records. And this man here, I mean, there was a lot of different deaths. I mean, the reason why he's in jail now is because he ran over somebody, okay? And a lot of people blame him for Tupac Shakur's death and just a lot of basically, guys, Suge Knight employed a lot of gang members. He had often employed intimidation and violence into his business dealings. And he eventually got incarcerated. And I feel like Yo Gotti is going down the same path as Suge Knight. I really feel like Yo Gotti is more of like the modern version of Suge Knight, in my humble opinion. And there's going to be one or two destinations for this man if he keeps up the way he's going. Unless Angela Simmons helps him change, he might end up in prison on a RICO case, or he may end up with his brother, Big Jook, unfortunately. That's what I really think. So, but anyways, let's just go back and talk about the story before we get into what eventually happened. And I really want to have a discussion about what you guys think ultimately about this case, about, what's going on and how people are actually celebrating this man's death, which I find disturbing. I get it, guys. We're going to talk about everything because I know some people are fans of Young Dolph. Some people are fans of Yo Gotti. So we got a whole war going on, not just with the different record labels, but we have a war going on within the fan base. It's just a hot mess. So anyways, Yo Gotti, and basically this man here, Big Jook, who has been assassinated pretty brutally in front of his own mother, y'all, in front of his mom. His mom almost got unalived too. She was in the car. But anyway, which is crazy, y'all. I'm telling you, when people want to get back at somebody, which is the person they really want to get back at as Yo Gotti, they will come for your family. They will come for your mama. They'll come for your sister. They come for your daddy. They come for everybody. Your brother, your grandma. So that mother is lucky she made it out alive. I feel like they wanted to preserve her. Maybe the people involved had somewhat of a heart to preserve her life because she's an older woman. I don't, she wouldn't have, probably wouldn't have ran that fast. So they must have preserved her life. They had a little small ounce of empathy, which I find surprising, you guys, because that's not normal. But anyways, so Big Jook is the older brother of Yo Gotti, and he works with his brother on the record label, and he's kind of like his brother's trusted partner in certain things. So he kind of does the dirty work of Yo Gotti, in my humble opinion. All these are allegations, so don't come for me. But anyways, Yo Gotti wanted to sign young Dolph to his record label. Okay. This is how this whole war started, you guys. It all started from a lot of pride and ego because of rejection and competition. And, people can't seem to handle when somebody is, doing better than them or has a certain clout than they have. They tend to take things personally. So Yo Gotti wanted to sign young Dolph, back in the day, probably stemmed back in 2017, 2016-ish, around that time, guys. And during that time, when he wanted to sign this man, oh God, it was very sad. So young Dolph was like, you know what? I want to go on my own. I'm not trying to be, locked down to any type of record label. So he rejected the offer. And that is what caused this whole war zone. Yo Gotti got in his feelings. It just seems like these thug-like dudes, they just can't stand rejection. Same thing happened with Suge Knight. Same situation. I'm telling you, he's the modern Suge Knight. So basically, he got in his feelings. And so they kind of had this boiling surface of a battle going on. And even at one point, young Dolph put on a Twitter message during this time back in 2017. He said, you were once my biggest fan. He was talking about Yo Gotti. He didn't put names on it, but he just said, you were once my biggest fan, and now you're my biggest hater. And Yo Gotti saw that. So now it's kind of those words. I told you, so interesting how people had that saying, stick and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Guys, words can cause and lead to death. And that's what happened in this. So when young Dolph posted that on his Twitter, Yo Gotti got in his feelings and it started to brew this war going on. Yo Gotti did not publicly come out and say anything about what young Dolph put on Twitter. But, behind the scenes, he was, picking on young Dolph, doing very indirect, passive aggressive things towards young Dolph. And young Dolph would respond publicly, whereas Yo Gotti would respond behind the scenes. So he wasn't responding publicly, but young Dolph would come out and respond publicly. So the second way he responded publicly is he released a song. And in the lyrics, he really, really went in on Yo Gotti and even on Big Jook. He called Yo Gotti basically a bitch, and he called Big Jook his sister, basically challenging these men's sexuality when you call them a B word or you call them the sister when he's clearly a man. So that caused some anger within the CMG community, not only with Yo Gotti and Big Jook, but all the different artists within that community. So it was kind of like Yo Gotti started sending out his little minions to handle his lightweight, which was young Dolph at the time. So he sent some people out, allegedly, to shoot up young Dolph's car. That was a first attempt. There was a first attempt on young Dolph's life in Los Angeles. They shot up his bulletproof van several times. There was photos of that, which I'm not even gonna get into the photos. I'm pretty sure you guys saw those photos floating around. Everybody and their mama seen them photos. But thank God he had a bulletproof van and he was not scathed at all. Wait, no, back it up, guys. Sorry, let's rewind. That's not even what happened. Sorry, in Los Angeles, he actually did get injured. So this happened in North Carolina or South Carolina, one of the Carolinas, y'all. One of the Carolinas, his car got shot up. Actually, let me go ahead and show y'all a video. There's got to be a picture of it somewhere. One of the Carolinas, you guys, his car got shot. Oh, sorry. Let me see if I got this annoying ad going on, so I can show you real quick. So, actually, before the shootings up, let's go back. Before we get into the shooting up, so he released this first song, calling Yo Gotti a B and Big Jook basically the big sister of Yo Gotti. So insulting their sexuality. Now you already know that that's going to cause some anger in men to be insulted that way. But Yo Gotti didn't respond publicly. He played his cards right. See, Yo Gotti likes to play chess and checkers. He's very strategic. He knows certain things he can and can't do, so he laid low. But he went behind the scenes again, picking and pulling at Young Dolph. And Young Dolph came out again publicly in different interviews and talking about how Yo Gotti was doing things to him behind the scenes. And that's why he said, if you're going to do things behind the scenes, well, I'm going to come at you publicly. Okay. I'm going to come at you face to face and get in on you. So then the second song he did, y'all, man, then he started talking about how he slept with Yo Gotti's baby mama or whatever. And then that just caused, when he started talking about the baby mamas. See, they're saying this whole case is about words. That's what it is. It's all about words that caused all these deaths. And there's going to be a lot more deaths, unfortunately, guys. So sad. Oh, man, why can't we all get along, y'all? This is so sad. Okay, anyway. So, after he did that, it started to brew some violence. Okay. People started, then Yo Gotti started sending out his little minions. Okay. And they shot up this man's car. This was Young Dolph's van that got shot up. Look at all these bullets all over the car, y'all. Just a hot mess. But, Young Dolph knew that he was going to be a target. He was a smart man. In this sense, he knew he was going to be a target. So he got him a bulletproof van. Knowing that this could possibly happen to him because of the words that he's saying. And men get in their feelings when it comes to certain words, y'all. I mean, you got to be careful the words you use now in today's, back in the day, you can go and use words and you'll end up in a fight and then everybody goes home alive. Not today. You use words today. Nobody fights with their hands anymore. They use guns. They're murdering people out here over words. So Young Dolph, he escaped this situation unscathed. Not a touch on his body, ended up occurring in that tragedy. But he went to everywhere this man went, he was getting shot at. It was like, it didn't matter what state he went to. He went to the Carolinas, got shot up. Then he went to Los Angeles. And apparently Yo Gotti happened to be in some hotel nearby. And he sent some of his minions that are on his record label to go out there. And they had this verbal argument that led to shooting. And Young Dolph in that situation ended up, going to the hospital because he was physically injured. But he lived that situation out. Thank God he survived. But unfortunately, guys, things turned left in 2021. He ended up going to this very well-known cookie place in Memphis where he loved to go, guys. And what was so heartbreaking about this, which we talked about this story before, is he even promoted this cookie place on his Instagram, like very shortly before he was unalived. He was talking about how I had the best cookies and for telling people to go there and just was showing the cookies off. He was just I thought he was so cute with his little cookies and how happy he was with his cookies, y'all. He was a cute guy, right? But that was a big mistake that he did, y'all, when he promoted those cookies. When he promoted those cookies, there are allegations out there surfacing. Now, I don't know if this is true or not, but there are allegations out there surfacing that the person who owns that cookie shop, and I don't know if this is true, again, they say that the person that owned that cookie shop was paid by some of the members of Yo Gotti's record label to let them know the next time Young Dolph was at that cookie shop so that they can handle him. That's a rumor that's going on. But there's also the whole indication that Young Dolph was the only person in town that had a specific type of car. So he kind of made himself very well known. He actually stopped at a gas station during that time, and the culprits who were looking to unalive him were sitting there watching him. So he was being watched and targeted and followed even at that time. So however they found out, he was made himself a target by having that car, and he didn't have a bulletproof. He just came unguarded. That's the thing. When you're in these type of war situations, you got to be prepared at all times. And a lot of these people, they get unalive because they're caught slipping. Always caught slipping is these people who are out to unalive individuals in these rapper war zone situations, they will catch you when you are least expecting it, when your guard is down. For example, when your weakness reaches out to you, for example, a woman, your parents, your family members. This situation with young Dolph was a weakness with him, was his mom, because his mom said, hey, go get me some cookies from that, that place that we love so much. Oh God, what is the name of that cookie shop, y'all? Come on, tell me. I should know because I've been there and I didn't really like those cookies. I'm gonna be real. I went to that place when I was in Memphis last year. I did not like it. I've had better. I did not like those cookies. They were very stale and I didn't like them. I think they're called, I don't know what they're called. Tell me in the chat, y'all. Tell me in the chat. Is it Makita's cookies or something like that? Yeah, I think it's Makita's cookies. Y'all let me know. Because it got a bunch of graffiti all over it. Actually, let me show you what happened after he was unalived. He went there. I think he even went there with somebody. This is what happened. They got a lot of graffiti on the cookie place after the shooting where he was shot at. It's called Makita's Homemade Butter Cookies. So he went there. He had his very well-known car. I'm just saying, y'all, if you know that you are in these type of wars, first of all, don't get in these wars. Just keep your mouth shut. Okay. But if you're going to get in these type of wars, you better be on your guard at any time you leave any type of house or whatever, because you are an open target. And so he came to Makita's Homemade Butter Cookies. He made the announcement that this is one of his places he loves. He announced it weeks ago. These are fans that are crying about young Dolph because he was basically a hero in Memphis. Everybody loved young Dolph, and they did a whole graffiti of this whole place. They did a memorial. If you go to Memphis ever, bless your heart, if you go to Makita's and you go inside, there's actually a memorial in the corner over here toward the back area. They have pictures of young Dolph in there. They have, a whole memorial dedicated to him inside the cookie place. Actually, when I went inside, I got to see the memorial. It was very beautiful. But so this is what happened. So he went there to get the cookies, and the culprits, as you guys already know, went and just ambushed this man and shot him all the way up inside the place. People are saying they think the owner set him up. I don't know if that's even true. And don't you know, after the shooting happened, and see, this was the car that he had. This car made him a target, guys. This car with the camouflage on it, everybody and their mama would be looking for this car. And he was driving around with that. So if his enemies are out to get him, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to see that car and be like, there's young Dolph. And so they followed him there. So either way, he made himself a very well-known target. And he even announced, here they're towing the car here when this all happened, guys. And the way he died, it just broke my heart. I was sad for a long time. I didn't even know who young Dolph was. In fact, when he died, that was the first time I ever heard of the man. Never heard of him. But it was just a very sad situation to see somebody die like that, to see how he was running for his life in there and was really trying to get away and he couldn't. That just broke my soul. This was the gas station, guys, where young Dolph went first before he went to Makita's. And there was actually a fan that took a picture of him and posted his location online. And people was thinking that it was, her fault for posting the social media. So people blamed her for a long time about that tragedy. So when this happened, guys, it caused a huge war to go on in Memphis. I mean, it broke out. People were angry. People wanted to get back. People really pointed the finger at Yo Gotti because, sorry guys, can you guys hear me? Please let me know. Please let me know if you can hear me. Something just happened on the screen. I don't know. Please let me know in the chat you can hear me or not. Hello, hello, hello. Let me know. Let me know if you can put like a 1 in the chat. Just let me know, please. So anyway, after this happened, people started targeting Yo Gotti. They were angry at Yo Gotti because everybody really liked Young Dolph. He was kind of like a hero in Memphis. And he did a lot of great things in Memphis. He did a lot of community oriented things and helped the community out so much that people were angry at Yo Gotti. Oh, actually, and another reason why Yo Gotti was mad at Young Dolph is because Young Dolph had an album, and he named the album that he was a king of Memphis or something like that, and that really made him angry. So y'all not telling me in the chat. I'm about to close this live if y'all not gonna tell me. Please let me know if you can hear me because I don't want to waste my time if you cannot hear what I'm saying or see the screen. So please let me know, please. So anyways, people got mad at Yo Gotti. People got mad at him and they really wanted to get back at him. But of course, he was kind of untouchable because he wasn't in Memphis. He had a bunch of security, so nobody was worried about him. But they were still ready to come for him. The record label and the people that were a part of Young Dolph's group, they were angry online. And then we had Big Jook. People blamed Big Jook because there was a rumor that had been going on. Okay, thank you, Angelita. I appreciate you. There was a rumor, guys, that had been going on that they felt like Yo Gotti had something to do with it. But then people started blaming Big Jook for it. There was a rumor going on that Big Jook was the one who paid $40,000 to set up this whole situation. Okay. That's what people were exposing him for. And in fact, a person that was well known to Young Dolph and supported Young Dolph came out and said that.
For me, man, because I know a lot of you rap niggas fucked up out here, man.
And this is a video right here that I want to go over. This is a video after Big Young Dolph was unalived. Big Jook came out kind of making fun of the death of Young Dolph. He was mocking the artists that were a part of Young Dolph's crew, basically saying, hey, I'll get a GoFundMe going so we can pay all your bills. Because now that basically Young Dolph is deceased, you're going to need some money because you can't do any shows. He didn't basically come out and say that. But if anybody knows this whole situation, anybody could infer what he was saying. He was basically mocking the people involved. He was mocking Young Dolph's death. There was even a memorial that was put out for Young Dolph, and Big Jook was making fun of the memorial and calling Young Dolph a bitch and just mocking him. Like, we got to be careful, y'all, about mocking people's death, period. We're all going to end up passing away one day. So even if somebody was a horrible person, mocking someone's death, it just brings that energy to you. So he kind of summoned it to him. And a lot of people really started blaming him and Yo Gotti because people had found out that he allegedly paid 40 grand to get Young Dolph unalived. And the reason why people really linked him to the murder, because there was one of the individuals that was arrested actually was one of his close counterparts that ended up being arrested. And he was seen in pictures with Big Jook. He worked closely with Big Jook. So people started to blame Big Jook and put a money bag on his head. But see, for the last few years, guys, this has been going on since 2021, right? We're now in 2024. For the last few years, Big Jook was guarded. He was protecting himself. He was always watching his back. He made sure he didn't announce himself. And then this is what people do when they're looking to take you out of this world. They will wait. They're very patient, guys. What they wanted to do, wait till Big Jook, his guard eventually goes down. First year, 2021, his guard's up. 2022, his guard's up. 2023, his guard's up. Now 2024 hits. Now his guard goes down because his uncle died of natural causes. But before we get into the natural causes, let's go over this video where we can see Big Jook making fun of Young Dolph's death.
So, man, hey, y'all, I'm finna start a GoFundMe, man, because I know a lot of you rap niggas fucked up out here, man. Can't do no shows. Ain't save no money. So guess what? I'm gonna come say today. I'm gonna come pay you niggas rent if y'all got somewhere to stay. I'll pay your car note. I'll pay your jewelry note so you won't get repoed. You feel me? Whatever else you renting or leasing, I'm gonna pay this shit. But when this shit break back over, I want 10% of what you make, nigga. I'm saving you in a crucial time, so don't think I'm trying to get over on you. Cause you don't want to get put out. That'll ruin your career. So just hit my DM, man. We ain't gonna put niggas' business out there. We ain't that tight. You feel me? We can put it in contract. This will never be talked about. You feel me? I'll be so far out the way that won't nobody even know the deal we made. You feel me? So I got up to thing me and bro gonna put together up to about an M. So whoever trying to say their career, man, need to shoot some videos while the label budgets is cut off. Labels, they cut off right now. No budgets, no money. We still open. CMG still open. Budgets never closed. You feel me? But y'all can pawn some of that jewelry. If it's real, y'all can come and pawn it. You ain't gotta go to the pawn shop. Come to me. That is real shit. Don't go to Cash Advance. Come to CMG Advance. We got some money for you niggas, man. Right now. You feel me? We got money. Right now, man. Pull up. Don't make this shit happen, man. Cause I think this gonna hurt a lot of rappers, man, after this, man. These niggas can't go these niggas can't go without making money, man. They don't stack it, man. They wasted all on the drip. See all that drip I ain't buy? See that? Man, who worried? We not worried. You feel me? All that shit y'all used to, you feel me? You know all that shit how y'all used to fuck the money up. You feel me? Remember when y'all used to fuck the money up? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, this the time.
So as you can see in that video, he literally mocked the death of young Dolph and sitting there laughing in the car, making fun of the artist, saying, if you need help, hit me up. Now, he know good and well young Dolph artists are not going to hit him up in his inbox asking for money. Boy, bye. It was a hot mess. And this kind of gives us a little synopsis of the record label that he had. It's called Collective Music Group, CMG label, formerly known as the Coca-Cola word, music group. It's a record label founded by Yo Gotti. The label's current president is Yo Gotti's cousin, Brandon Mims, and the label houses primarily Tennessee-based hip-hop artists, including Moneybagg Yo, Black Youngsta, Black Boy, and Glorilla, but is also home to artists including 42 Doug, SG, and Mozzie, among others. So you see how Yo Gotti and them, they wanted to make their organization basically have all the Memphis, Tennessee artists to be a part of his group, basically, y'all. But anyway, people, they started exposing him, saying that, he paid for the murder. Sorry, guys. He paid for the murder of young Dolph after this happened. So after he was mocking people, making fun of people, there was another person that was a part of young Dolph's organization that came out and said, you know what? Let me just tell y'all the truth. Allegedly, he accused of Big Jook of paying the 40 grand to unalive young Dolph. So here's what he said on the live during this whole tragedy.
He got it. If I see Migo, if I see Youngster, I'm gonna get on that ass because these folks had something to do with it. But nigga don't know that Jook put a hit out, bro. Nigga don't know this shit. You know what I'm saying? But nah, fuck all that, bro. I need to say that. Niggas ain't gonna say that. Nigga ain't gonna tell the truth, bro. Nigga ain't say, man, hey, bro, how you gonna feel if a nigga told you, hey, man, look, bro, man, Jook put a $40,000 hit on you, bro. Like, nigga, man, come on, bro. I couldn't hear that, bro. That shit down and put tears in my eyes.
So once that was shared about the alleged allegation that Big Jook put the 40,000, and this all roots back to Yo Gotti. And the person that Yo Gotti has trusted all around is Big Jook. He trusts Big Jook with everything. He don't trust anybody else but his brother Big Jook. And now that Big Jook's gone, he doesn't have anyone to do his dirty work. So it's, in my humble opinion, what I think happened, this is just a humble opinion, Big Jook took the command from Yo Gotti. I believe Yo Gotti gave the money, 40 grand, to Big Jook, and then Big Jook gave it to his right-hand man who went out and facilitated the whole murder. And that's why this can be a possibly RICO case if they somehow can get somebody to snitch on Yo Gotti. But now that one of the people who are involved is deceased now, it's going to be kind of hard to get to Yo Gotti unless somebody tails on Yo Gotti, which they can't because Big Jook took the command from Yo Gotti. So the only way they can do that is if Big Jook snitched on Yo Gotti, which is never going to happen, even at this sense, because now Big Jook is gone. So it stems back to this man, why everybody dead in this first place. This is just a hot mess. He's the reason. Anyway, so after that whole situation, and Big Jook was exposed by one of the members of Young Dolph's record label, as you just seen, claiming the 40 grand was used to pay for the death. And that was also very evident because the people that unalived him, one of the rappers that unalived Young Dolph, was actually on his Instagram, y'all. And I don't have the picture right now, but he was on his Instagram bragging and had stacks of money right after the murder. He was going around bragging. He had the stacks of money all on his Instagram, y'all, bragging about it. So when that happened, he already basically gave himself away. He eventually got arrested for that. He was one of the rappers on the Yo Gotti's record label. So after that happened, you guys, everybody was ready to unalive Big Jook. But of course, Big Jook was on his game. He was on his P's and Q's for the last few years. He moved very carefully. He had his security. He wasn't out announcing his presence online where he was going to be or when he was going to be in Memphis or stuff like that. But guys, there's always a time when these people are caught slipping. And it usually centers around somebody's weakness. Always. Okay? Always somebody's weakness. And in this case, it's either the family members, death of a family member, a female. Remember what happened to Mo3? He was unalived because of a female at some female's house. So it's like always they get you at your weakness, either a family member or a female or something. In this situation, it was a family member. Okay. It was a straight up family member. This man has been so careful about his movements. And he went and he announced that he was going to be going to this funeral, his uncle's funeral. And in fact, he had the flyer on his Instagram in his story, which is not there anymore, guys. But he announced where he was going to be at, the location of where the funeral was going to be, everything online, guys. He let them know exactly where he was going to be. That was where he messed up. He gave the killers the date and time and everything, and he announced it about 2 weeks ago. So they had 2 weeks to plan the entire murder. And it does look as though they planned this whole thing out because even the car that they drove, y'all, they took the license plate off. The car looked like it was probably a rental car. Let me show you the car that was used. It was this white car here. And look how they took the license plate off. Like these men had this whole thing planned the heck out, okay? It was planned out. All the way down to the car. I bet you they probably did practice run-throughs. They probably assigned who was going to be the hitman, who were going to be the people that were going to go to this shooting, what were going to be their roles, because they had 2 weeks to plan the whole thing out. Even your own enemies are following you on social media. Okay? They were following this man on social media. So they saw when he announced 2 weeks ago that he was going to be at this funeral, the homegoing. So what do you think they're going to do? They went and got this car. It looks like it's a rental car to me, the way this car was set up. And they even removed the license plate. The license plates, guys, so they didn't have any identity. But y'all know these criminals are so dumb because there's video surveillance everywhere, even traffic surveillance. So law enforcement has surveillance that can track their every move, all the way from when they drove to their residence or wherever they drove from to wherever they drove after, and when they got out the vehicles. They're going to be able to identify these people. They probably already figured it out. They're just going to be lay low for a while, guys, until they build up their evidence, and then they're going to announce the people. I'm guaranteeing that's what they already did. They already know who it is. I guarantee you. But anyway, these guys already planned this whole thing out, assigned roles, who was going to be unalive and who was going to be there. They even had the car ready to go, guys. And at this funeral, y'all, when they went to the funeral, don't you know, allegedly, what's going on? Allegedly, y'all. Those killers went to the funeral. Allegedly. That's a rumor that's going on. And they were allegedly sitting in the back of the funeral, watching the whole thing play out. And Yo Gotti was lucky because he was actually a target as well. Okay? He was actually a target as well. Isn't that crazy? That's the thing I just can't even get past. Like, Yo Gotti almost would have been unalived. But Yo Gotti was smart because Yo Gotti was about to leave because of the weather. That's the only reason why he's spared. Because he left the funeral early. After the funeral, he left. Okay? Sorry. After the funeral, he was gone. Okay? He kept it moving. He did what he had to do and left that funeral. Okay? That's the only reason why Yo Gotti's alive. So Yo Gotti better thank the Lord right now, okay? And they're still going to come for him. He is very much in, guys, he is in danger. Because basically what they did is they baited him. They unalived, Mr. Big Jook so that they can get to Yo Gotti. Because we know what's going to happen. They always get the weakness, y'all. They're going to get your family. They're going to get somebody, a female involved or one of those, right? So now that Big Jook is unalived, there's going to be another funeral, of course, right? Right. And if there is any family member out there, because they're following every single family member, they're following the sister, they're following the mother, they're following the record label people. And if any of those people announce where that funeral is going to be, don't you know, they are going to show up at that funeral as well. And they are going to unalive or try to unalive Mr. Yo Gotti. So Mr. Yo Gotti better move very smart this time. And they need to have law enforcement, swarming that entire funeral when Mr. Big Jook has his funeral, because they're going to come for this man if he does not be careful and move carefully. That's all I'm saying. Y'all better, I'm telling you, they coming for him. But anyway, so they have the funeral. He announced it to the world. So you know what happened when he announced it to the world. His enemies saw that announcement. Okay. And Big Jook, people sometimes get this sixth sense that they know that somebody's out to get them. Guys, this is the last post he posted before he was unalived. And it is very alarming what he posted. Let's read the words that he posted, because I feel like he knew that somebody was out to get him. He felt it. He said, they don't want to face you. They want to snake you. What that means is they don't want to come and confront you face to face. What they're going to do is they're going to sneak and ambush you when you least expect it. That's what that means. When you're caught off guard, when you least expect it, they're cowards. A lot of these people in these situations, these tragedies, are cowards. They're not going to face the people that they're trying to unalive or whatever they got this beef with face to face. They're going to get you when you don't expect it, when you're caught off guard. And that's what he was saying in this post, you guys. That's the crazy part about it. He already knew he was about to die. That is crazy. He said it right here. He said, they don't want to face you. They want to snake you. What that means is they sneak up on you when you are the most vulnerable and you don't expect it. And Big Jook was very vulnerable. And he posted this before he died. Don't you think he knew what the heck was going on? And this is what he said: stay alert to stay alive. And the reason why he said that, because he knew he was going to Memphis, y'all. He knew people that were targeting him. Watch your back at all times. Look at that. He's basically saying, if you're a target, be on your guard. Watch your back, because they're not going to face you like, a bold person to fight you face to face. They're going to get you when you don't expect it. So make sure you're on your P's and Q's. But he didn't do that because his heart was involved. He lost a family member. This family member was well known to being the drug world. I can only say that word one time on here. I'll use the D word if going forward, but he was well known in the D world in trafficking. And for some reason, Big Jook really looked up to this guy. It's very sad the role models they got going on in this community, y'all. But they looked up to this man because of his well-known, I don't know, name in the D world, the trafficking world in that situation. And he was actually, the uncle was married to Big Jook and Yo Gotti's auntie. And Big Jook was actually more close to this uncle than Yo Gotti was, which explains why Big Jook wanted to stay in Tennessee just to kind of continue to mourn his death, because he was the one that was more close to this uncle than Yo Gotti was. Yo Gotti was, you know, he knew the uncle and admired him, but he wasn't as close to this uncle. So look at these words, y'all. These words give me the creeps. It's just like he knew, man. He said, put snakes on a plate and eat gray. Basically, be on your guard, and when they try to come for you, unalive them before they unalive you. That's what he's basically saying. He basically prophesied what was going to happen to him, and yet he didn't do what he said you're supposed to do. Stay alert to stay alive. This man has been staying alert to stay alive for the past 3 years. But when he lost his uncle, he stopped watching and protecting himself and guarding himself. He became vulnerable. And that's what the enemy does. They will come in like a thief in the night and take a person out who they are targeting when they are at their weak point, usually a family member or some type of female love situation. They will get you. They wait, and they are so patient. They will wait 5-10 years. Okay. There will always be that moment when that person is caught slipping. Okay. Caught slipping. Now we're going to come back to this post because I want to go into these comments, y'all. And these comments are a hot mess. Actually kind of sad to see the celebrations going on in those chats. I get why people are, you know, feeling the way they feel, but I just don't like the whole celebration of death for anyone. So I just kind of wanted to talk to y'all about it. But anyway, let's go over this funeral. There's a video of the funeral that happened. And you can see in the video, you'll see Yo Gotti behind Big Jook. And you can just tell how Big Jook is really trying to take in the moment of his uncle being deceased. Isn't this crazy how he was unalived at a funeral? It's like he sees his uncle in a casket only to be placed in a casket shortly thereafter. That is some crazy stuff. Oh my God. Oh my God, this case just gives me the creeps how it happened, y'all. It does. It gives me the chills, not the creeps. It gives me the chills. It sends chills down my bones just to see how this man got taken out at a funeral, though, man. But anyway, so what happened was Yo Gotti attended the funeral. I'm going to show you this short clip. But Yo Gotti left the funeral immediately thereafter, got a flight because of the weather. That he got saved by the weather, because he probably would have been with Yo Gotti. I mean, he would have been with Big Jook and his mom if this happened, and he would have been unalive too. This would have been a bigger tragedy. He just got saved by the weather. So he left after this video I'm going to show you. However, what happened was Big Jook decided to stay back and go to the repast. That's a repast is basically where you go and have a meal to kind of continue to memorialize the death of a loved one. So he went to this restaurant. It's a very well-known soul food restaurant in town. It has some really good soul food, y'all. It's good. A lot of, you know, the high-known people go there because it's a pretty expensive area. So they go there with, and who's in the car? Himself, his security guard. It's like a street dude, and his mother. Okay. And there's two different theories about what happened, but let's watch this funeral of his last moments.
Can you feel it, gangsters? Can you feel it, gangsters?
A suspect fled the scene, and police found a victim on the scene in critical condition. He was transported to the hospital, where he's not expected to survive.
Now it's kind of blurry, y'all. But this right here is Big Jook, and that right there is Yo Gotti. Right there. So Big Jook right here, Yo Gotti right behind him. And then that's Angela Simmons, whatever her name is. I don't know that girl's name. Y'all pray for me. I don't know her name. Y'all tell me in the chat if I got her name wrong. She's the girlfriend of Yo Gotti, whatever. But she was there too. Okay, so she was there. Let's get out of there. So that was his last moments at that funeral. After that funeral happened, Yo Gotti got the heck out of Dodge. Okay, he was like, I'm out of here, the weather. But in my opinion, I feel like it was more than just the weather. Yo Gotti's a smart dude. A lot of people don't give this dude credit, but he's a smart dude. Like the way he moves, he really does things strategically. Like for example, with the beef with young Dolph, he tried to not move out in the public. A lot of times he did things behind closed doors, except for that one time when he just couldn't take it anymore. And he actually did a diss track in response to young Dolph. But most of the time he knows how to just move strategically. I really think it was more than just the weather. I feel like Yo Gotti knew he shouldn't be in Memphis. He knows that place is hot. This guy is very careful about how he moves. He got the heck out of Dodge because he knew Memphis was hot and he's a target over there. Like, it is what it is. He's not only a target, though. His family members are. Everybody is a target. So anyway, Yo Gotti flew out of town. He was like, boy, bye. I'm out of here, right? And no, Big Jook was like, he decided to stay. Which doesn't make any sense to me because he posted about the whole snake situation and people sneaking up on people. I'm like, you know you're a target, bro. Like, why are you in this town? I know this is your hometown, and they will get you in your hometown. They will get you. That's where they will get you, okay? So he decided to go to the repast to get some food, hang out with the rest of his family. He was going to stay a couple more days with his mom and stuff. And the sad part, his mom was up in the car, y'all. This is a tragedy. This is a tragedy. His mom had to see this. And what makes it even worse, she couldn't do nothing about it. A lot of people judged her because she was in the car at the time, and she basically fled the car before Big Jook was killed. That's what a blogger claims. Now, I don't know if that's true. That is a rumor from a blogger who has got from a source claiming that she fled the scene. She ran. I'm going to show you a picture. Let me see if I can show you a picture of her. This picture doesn't really show her really well, guys. So I'll try to show this one. Maybe I can get a better view of her in another picture. But this is Yo Gotti's mother right here. And this is Yo Gotti with his mom sitting here in Memphis, just chilling with his mom at their family home. Let me see if I can get another picture of her. But they have a very close relationship. Imagine if she didn't run, though. Like, a lot of people are coming for the mom, which I have no idea why they would even dare do that. That is just the dumbest thing. Like, what was she going to do? She would have ended up dead right along with them. There was nothing that she could do. The smartest thing to do was to get out of Dodge. We don't know what was said. Maybe even Big Jook was yelling at his mom to run. Run, mom. He might have even said it to her. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking he would have wanted his mom to be saved. And he probably was like, run, mom. There she is right here. This is his mom with Yo Gotti right here. His mom. She's so pretty to me. Just a gorgeous, black don't crack, y'all. Black women are blessed as it is with that beautiful melanin skin. I'm telling you, she looks gorgeous. But anyway, so she was in the car. I feel, this is my theory. This has no factual value, but I feel like if this man saw his life coming before him, because I'm pretty sure they pulled up, came out that car with those guns, he probably yelled at his mom to run. I really feel that. And that's just something I'm just guessing. He might have been like, run, mom, run, or something like that. She got out. She got the heck out of Dodge, ran. There was nothing she could have done. She would have never been able to save that man. She would have been shot right along with him. So I'm glad she ran because this case would have been even more tragic. Oh my God. Imagine Yo Gotti losing his mother. Oh, wait. He already lost his brother, his right-hand man, but to lose his mom too at the same time. Oh my God. So anyway, she ran out of town, y'all. She got out of there. But I think she probably still saw it, that's her boy. She probably, even though she ran, she probably saw something. And there's two theories about what happened. Two theories. There's one rumor going around to claim that Big Jook was outside of the car And after the repass, he was smoking a cigarette, just chilling. Now, if that was a true situation, he was not being smart at all. He was not taking his own advice. Why would you be in the middle of Memphis at a well-known restaurant after announcing where you were going to be anyway about the repass, and then have the audacity to be out in the public smoking? Like, who does that? This is one theory that somebody is saying in the hood. They say that he was outside smoking, and that when the culprits came out the car, ambushed him, he was trying to run for dear life to get to the car. Okay. And he didn't make it. That's why he was found outside the car on the ground. Now, that theory is somewhat supported by the evidence because his vehicle has no bullets at all whatsoever on the car, which is very interesting because you remember when young Dolph, his van was shot up, you could see all the bullets on that. But see this car, you could tell they were targeting the car because young Dolph was inside the vehicle. But for some interesting reason, Mr. Jook's car had no bullets. Now, I don't have a picture of that car, y'all. It's floating around, though, somewhere, but there's no bullets. And it doesn't make sense. If he's really in the car, why would there be no bullets? And that the car was a bulletproof vehicle. That's why he was trying to run to get in that car, because if he got in the car, he would have saved himself because it was bulletproof. He would have been able to drive off and be saved. But unfortunately, that's not what happened. He didn't make it to the car, and his security guard didn't make it to the car. His security guard got shot in the head, and Mr. Jook got shot at least 10 times. Okay, at least. And the mom, luckily, praised the Lord, she got away. Okay. But this tragedy happened all because of, the Lord says, when you shed blood, blood will be shed upon you, basically. It's a summary of the scripture. And they started this war with shedding the blood of young Dolph, which led to now the blood being shed of Big Jook. And it's very tragic, you guys. There is actually video footage going around. There's a Twitter photo of him laying on the ground, bloody, guys. Isn't that crazy? People take videos of this stuff. I don't get it, why they do this. It's unacceptable, but they do. I'm not going to show that picture, but it's floating around. Here's the actual scene video here.
Yeah, I sure see him on the land. Laying down over there. Huh? Big Jook dead. Hey, for real? Big Jook. Whoa. Yeah, I see him over there. What is a birthday?
And look at the crazy part about it. If you could see right there that yellow balloon, those were the yellow balloons related to the repassing of Big Jook's uncle. So as they're celebrating the life of the uncle, Big Jook's life just got taken out. Isn't that ironic? I'm telling you, this tragedy gives me chills all down my body. It's just how crazy it is. You go into a funeral, you seeing your uncle in the casket, and within a matter of hours or so, you're now unalived, and now you're going to be in a casket. Like, who does that? It's crazy. Oh my gosh. Like, my gosh. Wow. Anyways, I'm telling you, when the enemy comes for you, it does not matter where you are or who you are with. Okay. So let's continue watching this video. Now, the video doesn't show the bodies on the ground, but that is the actual area where it happened.
What, a repass or a birthday party? Oh, it both ain't repaid. Hey, shoot out. That's what they said.
And if you can see that sign up there way in the back, it says Perry Nons, that is the restaurant where they were at. It is a well-known restaurant in Memphis. I'm telling you, the food is off the chain. Okay. Straight off the chain, y'all. And a lot of people go there, but a lot of the prestigious people go there because of how good the food is. So that was where they were coming from. And I guess after they ate, he thought he would chill and have a cigarette, which wasn't the smartest thing to do. So you see here it says Piranon's Event Center. So they have a lot of good food in there. They have a little center area where you can go and you can have events there. And that's where they were having the repast, where they ate the food and everything, catering and all that stuff over there.
Hell no. Yeah, he finna clear the lot now. All right, bro.
If you do not disperse, you may be arrested.
So after that happened, you know, everybody was there. His body was laid on the ground. They tried to do rescue attempts, but he was already dead at the scene. When the officers and their paramedics came, he was already deceased. Okay. They put him in the ambulance and they, you know, took his body to the hospital where they basically pronounced him dead. And that was procedural because basically he was already deceased at the scene when they got there. There really did nothing they could do. But procedurally, they have to take him to the hospital and just pronounce it there. The doctor's there. They pronounce it, you know, because they want the doctor to pronounce it. So the doctor was the one that pronounced it at the time and everything like that. The security guard guy who really was of no use, he is in critical condition. So he was air flight him, and he is in critical condition with a shot to the head. But y'all, this story is just tragic. And now we already know there is going to be a funeral for this man, and they're going to come for Yo Gotti. So Yo Gotti better be very careful. Now, what I find very disturbing, why I really wanted to talk about this case, is just how people are literally celebrating this guy's death like they were celebrating young Dolph's. And I just don't think it's cool that people are celebrating people's death. Yes, he brought this karma to him. Yes, he did. Okay. What he did in paying for somebody's death and facilitating someone's death is circled back around to him, which led to his death. And there's rumors that individuals paid $100,000 to basically have him unalived. I don't know if that's true. That is a rumor going around that there was $100,000 on his head, basically, y'all. It's just crazy. But I just found it disturbing. What I wanted to talk to you guys about is, what do you guys think? Is it okay for people to celebrate people's death? Like all these people in the chat. I mean, we got people from Young Dolph's crew making fun of him, laughing about the death. It's just all over social media, mocking this man's death. But let's read some of these comments. People have gone to this man's Instagram, just, you know, going off on him. This person says, why first thing everybody do when someone dies is go to their IG? This person says he was trolling on his last post and they smoked his boots after his uncle's funeral. He laughed at Dolph and others being unalived. Now he did. It's just crazy how people are sitting here putting this, y'all. I don't know, man. Let me know in the chat what y'all think. Anyway, eye for eye. Ain't nothing cool about laughing at the dead or mocking them. Now that's interesting. Ain't nothing cool about mocking the dead, you know, laughing at the dead or mocking them. And now this man here is doing the same thing he's saying is not cool. How are you now laughing at this man? You just said it wasn't cool about laughing at the dead and mocking them, because we're all going to end up dead. You may be alive now, but you don't know when your time will come. Anyway, now they can put him in the dirt. He thought Gotti and the industry going to save him. Nah, you never know who they will send to knock you off for your crooked ways. When you don't change, do better. Now, there's a bunch of replies under that, and I'm not going to go into that because it's going to waste a lot of time and energy. But that was crazy for them to put that. I was just surprised. I thought when I went to his comments, I thought there was going to be a lot of rest in peace and condolences. But when I went in there, it was the opposite. I was like, oh, my God, I can't believe this man. People out here just mocking his man's death. Now, I mean, he had it coming. He had it coming because of what he did to young Dolph. But I still don't think it's cool that people out here just celebrating. Like, it's just, both people should not, their deaths should not be celebrated. It's a sad situation for both people. Like, who gives anyone the right to take anyone's life? That is just so sad, like, period. Like, anyone. And the way they both died, like young Dolph and this dude, just horrific. Like, oh, it's so sad. Anyway, this person said Dolph was my N-word, but the way N-words are acting in these comments remind me of what Caucasian people that used to gather around laughing and joking at the N-word hanging from a tree. Shaking my head. Wow, that's a kind of really deep comment this guy put up here, but let me know what y'all think about that comment. Woo. But I'm glad that this guy is at least acknowledging that, hey, I'm a fan of young Dolph, but celebrating this man's death is not cool, basically. I agree with him. Like, I don't like what happened to young Dolph, but still, it's just sad that anybody had to lose their life. Like, why does words have to lead to death? Mere words. Words in a rap song led to all this? Like, this is just crazy. Basically, the two themes of this case is rejection and words that challenge someone's pride. Rejection, words, and pride. That's the theme of this case. Rejection, words, and pride. Why all this happened, if you want to know the motive, that's exactly what it is. And now the final word is revenge. Rejection, words, pride, and revenge. That summarizes this whole war that's going on between these two sides. Anyway, this person says, never seen people so happy about someone being unalive. It's sad. It is really sad. Just period. I know what this man did. He brought it to him. He did. He summoned this spirit to him. But when we celebrate someone else's death, it summons that same spirit to you or your family member or somebody else. So it's just, I don't know, in this day and age, how people have the guts to celebrate somebody being murdered, it's just disturbing. Anyway, this person said, people in 2024 are actually celebrating another person's demise. We are living in some spooky, unfortunate times. Life is so precious, and lives are affected by swift acts of hostility. I wish peace to all. I wish peace to all too, but man, that's not... Memphis is a war zone, man. Memphis is dangerous. I don't even recommend going to visit that place. I'm sorry. I know if somebody's from Memphis in the chat, don't get mad at me. It's just a scary place to be. It is right now, especially right now with this war going on. Even though you did all dissing, I have compassion for you. See, this person, I love that she's doing this. She says, even though this is how the mind shift, this is how your mindset should be. What she says, even though you did all dissing, I have compassion for you. May God have mercy on your soul. May he uplift the good you did and devalue the bad. I'm team nobody. The death's got to stop. Stop the cycle. I agree with this woman right here. Man or woman. I don't know if it's a guy or girl, but I agree with her. Team nobody. It's like nobody should have been killed. Not over some rejection, not over some words, not over pride, and now not over revenge. Like, we got to really value. People don't really look at the deep situation of this cause is, now these people's kids can't have a father. The mother can't have a son. A brother can't have his big brother. Like, it's just a big, big situation with both sides, young Dolph and Big Jook. It's just like, seriously, who gives you a right to step into the position of God and reclaim somebody's soul? Like, that's the part I don't understand. Anyway, this person said, y'all really be choosing sides like y'all know these folks, right? Nobody knows any one of these people. Now, young Dolph was a beautiful soul, y'all. He did some incredible things for his community. That's why so many people loved him. He donated a lot of things. He was a really, really beautiful person, and he really gave back to Memphis, which is why so many people loved him. But still, like, nobody deserved to die in this situation, especially young Dolph. He said some pretty heated things in his rap songs, but that's not a reason to unalive somebody. Like, it just isn't. Like, men especially need to get control of their pride and that testosterone, okay? Anyway, this person says, you shitted on November 17, 2021. This date is when young Dolph was unalive, November 17th, 2021. You laughed when people were mourning. You got on live and mocked someone's father, someone's son, somebody's brother. Black Lives Matter. But it's an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. I wish it wasn't like this. I wish y'all could have came together. It's room for everyone. I agree with this guy on that. But y'all chose to separate. But that's life, and we got to deal with our decisions. Rest in peace, Dolph, Big, Pre, long live Frank. Memphis will forever be Dolph land. And the reason why people respect young Dolph so much, like I said, is because he really cared about his community, and he didn't just go around with all his fame and all that. He gave back, and he invested in Memphis, and he never forgot Memphis, and he even stayed in Memphis. He cared about Memphis. Anyway, this person says, my first time seeing my favorite rapper in person, he was laying in Makeda's. Oh my God. Guys, so this guy right here, the first time he got to see Young Dolph is when Young Dolph was deceased at the Makeda's cookie. So he was there. Dang. Now that's disturbing. Seeing somebody you're a fan of laying deceased at Makeda's, that is very sad. Wow. Wow. Let's read that again. My first time seeing my favorite rapper in person when he was laying in Makeda's. That was the cookie shop he got unalived at. Dang, he was at the crime scene. Wow. Because of hate, because of BS. But I know he's resting easy now and will be able to really rest easy soon because it's one more head left. Did you see that? Oh my God, did you see that? It's one more head left. Wow. You know who that one more head is, right? These people are not going to stop until they get what they get. So it's like Yo Gotti's going to be having to look over his shoulder for the rest of his life. And if he least expects it, if he lets down that guard at any moment, he will be next, allegedly. So he better move very careful. He is very strategic. He's a smart young man, but he better keep on his toes because if he's caught slipping. And the thing is, even if they can't touch him, they will come for more family members. Take out the mom, take out the sister. He lucky they didn't take out the mom this time. But I'm saying if they can't get Yo Gotti, they're going to try to get somebody else in the family to basically bait him back to Memphis. When they took out Big Jook, it's going to bait Yo Gotti back to Memphis. And so they know that. So everybody's on their P's and Q's right now because they're waiting for the announcement of when Big Jook's funeral will be announced. And they are going to be there at that scene too. Ready for Big Jook. So Big Jook is going to have to humble himself and he's going to have law enforcement at the funeral because if not, he is going to be a target. So he better be very, very careful and listen to the last words of his brother. I'm telling you. Okay. This person says, forever long live the king of Memphis. That's still Dolph. This person says, nah, I ain't finished. N-word. Yeah. What that basically means is they're not finished wreaking revenge on, Yo Gotti and his crew. So, I mean, they better be careful because they are coming for them. It's very sad. This person says, rest in peace, Jook. Rest in peace, Flippa. We all black, nobody win. I like that mentality. At least he's giving respect to everybody. That's how it should be. A mature way of how to handle this. This person says, too much disrespect in these comments. Let bro rest up. This person says, this being your last caption is crazy. Pray for Memphis. It's about to get even more crazy. It will. This person says, Dolph died getting cookies. N-word's been getting baked ever since. Wow. This person said, making fun of Dolph when he died, they ain't forgot. Right. They never forget. They will always wait and lurking in the background like a snake. Just like Big Jook said, like a snake, like a thief in the night, ready to pounce on you when you have your guard down or you're at your most vulnerable moment, related to family members, related to some type of female or romance situation or temptation, whatever it is. Okay. Let's see what this person says. I think I already went over all these guys. There's a lot more in here. A lot more comments in here, y'all. This person says, long live Dolph, thought that SHIT was over, huh? Basically saying you was caught slipping. You thought everything was cool. Like they think they get their guards down, they get comfortable, guys, and they start getting caught up slipping. And that's what happened, you know. It's just so sad. I really wanted to talk about how it's not okay to celebrate the death of anybody, period. Now, both of them had their part to play. You know, the words that were used, the young Dolph used to taunt his enemies was wrong. Okay. And going out and facilitating the death of somebody and then turning around and celebrating it was wrong on the part of Big Jook and his crew. And now we've got a unalive of Big Jook. It's just like all of it's wrong. All of it's wrong. And it's just very sad that people these days are celebrating someone's death. And now, you know, this video surveillance has come out to point out the suspect's vehicle, which tells me they actually already found one suspect. So who knows? They might even be interrogating the guy right now as we speak. Just because they haven't announced everything doesn't mean they don't have certain evidence and ready to go. What they're doing is they work behind the scenes first. They will act as though they don't know anything. Law enforcement will act as though they don't know, and they will just say, hey, you know, here's this video of this car that we found, and can you look out for this car? They do all that to try to get witnesses to come and speak. But I'm telling you, law enforcement knows a lot more than what they are presenting themselves or portraying themselves to know. They already have certain suspects. They have already been going through all the surveillance that is tracking the location of where the car is. They have the video of the car. They probably even have already found the car, are getting fingerprinting off the car and different DNA. You know, maybe they were smoking in the car. Who knows what they were doing in that car? And they're going to start. They have one suspect already, and they're going to start to pick up these people. And we will see announcements shortly, I'm telling you. Within the next few weeks or so, y'all. Within a month, sometimes at the latest. I've seen it, the timeline being within a month. They usually have something by then. So we'll wait the next 4 weeks. Anyway, Memphis Police Department released this image of a vehicle they believe to be connected with a fatal shooting Saturday on Winchester Road. The shooting left Anthony Mims deceased and another male victim injured. Okay. Now, with that, I told you the other person is still in critical condition. I don't know if he's going to make it, y'all. Hopefully he do. So that's what I'm saying. You be around an individual who got caught up in some mess and you end up losing your life. So you have to also be careful. That's why these cases are very important to talk about, because you may think that you stay out the way and you live a clean life, but you befriend somebody who's in some mess and then you end up caught up in the situation too. So be very careful about the people that you associate with, because it makes you yourself a target. Okay. So that man ended up becoming a target because he was hanging out with, you already know, Big Jook, who was hot. Big Jook was hot, y'all, because everybody who is affiliated with young Dolph was ready to come for him. Okay, ready to come for this man. Okay, so let's continue to read this article here. Let's get back to it. Memphis rapper Yo Gotti's brother, Anthony Big Jook Mims, was unalived on Saturday. Memphis Police Department confirmed on Sunday. According to the MPD Facebook post, an officer was in the area. See, can y'all hear me? Let me see. Hope I'm not mute. Okay. Was in the area of 6385 Winchester Road around 4:15 p.m. Saturday when he heard multiple gunshots. Now look at this, guys. An officer was in the area when the shots went off. So, wow. We got a witness who is an officer. Do you not know that these suspects are going to be caught? Now, that is something none of us really knew. That an officer was there, y'all. He heard the shots. The officer went to the location and found 2 victims with multiple gunshot wounds, both of whom were transported to the hospital. So it was like the officer was right there on the scene, y'all. Now, he only heard the shots because this report is not saying that he actually seen it, But that is some key evidence that we know an officer was there. That's some crazy stuff. You don't think the law enforcement already know who did this? All they're doing is building the case so that they can present it to the DA so the DA can file the charges. That's all they're doing right now, is just working up the case. That's crazy. The officer was there. Wow. Mims 47 was identified as the victim who was pronounced deceased at the hospital. Now, he was already deceased by the time he even got there, y'all, but they had to do it, procedurally and have the doctor pronounce it. The second male victim was in stable condition Sunday, police said. Okay, good. He's stable condition. So it looks like that the security guard is going to live, allegedly. During a press conference Saturday evening, Deputy Chief Paul Wright said police were analyzing video but did not have a suspect identified at that time. So what they're doing is they're looking at the video surveillance, and they're getting video surveillance from every traffic light as well. They're going to track that vehicle all the way to its destination using the video surveillance from every traffic light, because Memphis has video surveillance surrounding everywhere, all over, on the streets, in the traffic lights, everywhere. So what they're doing is they're tracking this car like they did in a PMB case, because that's how they found out the suspects in PMB. They did the same thing. They used all the video surveillance from every single traffic location. And they said, we do feel like the individual that was shot was possibly targeted by the suspect. Now, this right here tells me that they're using the traffic lights video surveillance. You can see this car already moving from the scene, driving, right? So that's what they've basically done, guys. They have pulled every single video footage, and they're basically tracking this car to the location where they dropped off the car. And my theory is they probably already got that car, y'all, because if they have already combed through that surveillance, because they already, whatever surveillance they got at each light, that's what they're using. Hopefully there was some type of surveillance that whatever neighborhood, wherever they trashed this car at, hopefully there was video surveillance there. If not, then that was where they'll lose the trail of the suspects. But if there is any type of surveillance where this car is dropped off, you better believe they're going to have that, and they're going to be able to ID the persons involved and get the fingerprinting. So that's kind of what they're doing. Because this right here shows me that this is traffic light video right here. Memphis Police Department released this image of a vehicle they believe to be connected with a fatal shooting on Saturday in Winchester. The shooting left Anthony Mims dead and another male victim injured. He said the two men were shot and had been attending a repast following a funeral service. Notice that, following a funeral service. Gotti was not at the repast. Yo Gotti, that's when he had already left. He only attended the funeral and left and did not attend that repast. And those suspects, they were at the funeral, and then they left the funeral early, and they sat in the car, allegedly, and waited out and followed Big Jook to the repast, where they took they did what they were going to do. They followed him there. Okay. On Sunday, police said a witness on the scene, so there's a witness too, said suspects in a white SUV were responsible for the shooting. These suspects could care less who was there. They had a target in mind, and they were ready to do what they had to do. The vehicle is a white Ford Explorer with black wheels and dark tinted windows. Images of it was captured on surveillance video. No arrests have been made, and the investigation is ongoing, and they give you the information if you would like to report it. Memphis Police Department released this image of a vehicle they believe to be connected with the fatal shooting. And look, you can see they're already, guys are telling you, these cops already know who did it, because look, they're taking the video footage from the streets, from the traffic lights. This is you can see them on the road, on the highway, already driving. So they're tracking this car down. CMG artists react to Big Jook's death. Several artists on Yo Gotti's CMG label, which his brother was involved with, took to social media following the news of Anthony Mims' death. On Instagram, superstar CMG rapper Glorilla posted a photo of herself at the 2023 Grammy Awards with Yo Gotti and Big Jook with a caption, "Get your rest," with a crying emoji. Another CMG, Big Boogie, posted a photo of himself with his head bowed, referencing Big Jook with the words "Forever Love You." Big Boogie also posted a series of Instagram stories with photos and videos of Big Jook with similar messages. Louisville rapper SG, a fellow CMG artist, posted a photo of himself and Big Jook praising him. Kept it real with me. I could never forget, wrote G. Big Jook's own Instagram account still had its most recent post up from Friday. A photo of Mims is accompanied by what is, in hindsight, an ominous sounding caption. They don't want to face you. They want to snake you. Stay alert to stay alive. Watch your back at all times. That was very eerie, man. That was very eerie. Oh my God. That gave me chills down my spine. Okay. So everybody was posting their goodbyes while people on the seat on young Dolph's side is over here celebrating this man's death. They're doing laughing emojis, different things on their social media, guys. It's a hot tamale mess. Okay. Now the law enforcement, they did a social media news conference here that we can listen to. Why is this doing this?
A lot of things that we don't have answers to. But what I can share with you was at 16:15 hours, we had officers in the area of 6385 Winchester, which is the Paragon Event Center. He was flagged down of a shooting of a male victim who was inside his vehicle. Officers pulled over to the scene. The victim was transported to the hospital, St. Francis Hospital, where he was pronounced deceased. There was a second victim who also was transported to the hospital. He was subsequently airlifted. We're very preliminary in this investigation right now. There's a lot of things that we don't have answers to. But what I can share with you was at 16:15 hours, we had officers in the area of 6385 Winchester, which is the Paragon Event Center. He was flagged down of a shooting of a male victim who was inside his vehicle. Officers pulled over to the scene. The victim was transported to the hospital, St. Francis Hospital, where he was pronounced deceased. There was a second victim who also was transported to the hospital. He was subsequently airlifted to Regional 1, where he's in critical condition at this time. My condolences go out to the families on this incident. But we don't have right now. We do have video that we're analyzing, but we don't have a clear suspect identified at this time. But we know that a weapon was used, a firearm was used in this incident.
Does that video show anything in terms of a car, a vehicle that was in this area?
We're still analyzing our video, but we don't have a clear suspect identified.
Will you be releasing videos to the public?
We're working on trying to develop suspect information, and as we get information, we will release what we have as it comes forward.
Can you tell us whether this is relative to Young Dolph, Big Jook, Yo Gotti?
There's no. This is preliminary, so we hadn't developed a connection to that at this time. We do feel like the individual that was shot was possibly targeted by the suspect.
You were hearing there was a repast or some sort of funeral procession going on over here at the time?
Yes, these individuals, the two individuals that were shot, were attending a repast at this location.
Last question.
How many suspects did you say that there were?
I never said how many, but we know at least one shooter that we believe at this time that there may be more involved in this.
And has family been notified?
We're in the process of notifying family and getting a clear identification on the victims at this time.
Can you tell us whether one of the victims is Yo Gotti's brother?
I can't confirm anything yet.
All right, thanks everybody.
Can you just say and spell your name one more time? Our mic wasn't on at the time.
I'm sorry, Paul Wright. PaulWright.
All right. We'll provide additional updates as they come. Look to Twitter. Any other questions?
So that was the initial news conference, press conference, press conference of the death of Big Jook, or the murder of Big Jook. But I just came on here really to say it's not okay for us to sit here and celebrate anybody's death. I understand both sides had their part to play, and Big Jook did the things that he did that led to his death. And may he and young Dolph rest in peace, because it's just sad that people had to die over someone's pride. You know, the word of God has so much facts and truth to it. The word of God says that pride comes before a man's destruction. And this case centers around pride. Pride on both sides. Two men who are prideful, and they wanted to defend that pride, and it led to destruction. It led to the death of young Dolph. It led to the death of Big Jook, and it's leading to the death of other future people. Like, this war is not over. They are still in the midst of a war going on in Memphis, and it's a hot place to be. It should, you know, if Yo Gotti is caught slipping and heading over there to Memphis, he'll end up next. But the sad part is, you know, when they know that they're targets, they got to move differently and protect themselves. I mean, he should have had way more security than just one street dude that was supposed to protect him. And the thing is, no matter how many guns you have, no matter how many security you have, if you are not being observant of your surroundings, defensive, on the defensive, prepared, the enemy will always catch you slipping when your guard is down. And it's just on both sides, man. Nobody deserved to die. It's just a sad situation in our community where people are out here celebrating anybody's death. Hi, Alyssa. Missed you too, my love. Yeah, it's just sad that anybody is out here celebrating somebody's death. Like, and I get people are very fan-based on who they love and all that stuff. And I'm sad that both of these people died. I just think that we need to be careful about celebrating death, because all of us will end up dying one day. Now, it's interesting. There's a scripture in the Bible that says to celebrate when somebody dies. So that's interesting that the Bible actually has a scripture about celebrating death, and that it's good for someone to die because they have peace and they rest. Isn't that crazy in the Bible? That's crazy that the Bible has a scripture about that. Let me see if I can actually quote that scripture, y'all. Y'all are not talkative about this tragedy. I don't hear anything. I'm about to end this live if I can't hear nobody give any input. Like, nobody really cares. I mean, I know I'm late to this tragedy. Everybody already watched everybody's YouTubes and stuff. But I'm trying to move differently now this year, because last year I used to move very immediately once the tragedy happened. And that wasn't too smart. Okay. So there's a scripture that basically says, rejoice at death and cry at birth. Isn't that crazy? But this scripture, let's see. What scripture is that? Where is it? Rejoice at death and cry at birth. That is the scripture. Yeah, there's a scripture about it. It says, I'm having a hard time finding it, y'all. But y'all, somebody knows it in there. Because God talks about celebrating death because, you know, you get peace. It talks about not mourning death. If I can find it in here. It's usually not that hard to find, because they always talk about this scripture when people die, to not be sad. Do not mourn. Okay, is it Ezekiel? Ezekiel 24:17. Sign and groan in silence. Here it is. Ezekiel 24:17 says, sigh and groan in silence. Do not mourn for the dead. Bind on your turban and put on your sandals on your feet. Do not cover your mustache or eat bread. So it's like, don't mourn when someone dies. Celebrate their life, right? But that scripture, people manipulate it. It doesn't necessarily mean sit here and laugh and mock somebody's death either. It's just saying celebrate their life. When you go to their funeral, you don't have to cry and be sad that they died, but celebrate that they lived. Whereas in this case, people are actually out here mocking what happened to him. And it's just be careful when you do stuff like that, because you summon negative karma to you. There is a such thing as karma, and karma will hit you 7 times over than what you already originally put out in the world. So, I mean, both of these tragedies happened on both sides. The scripture is pride comes before a man's destruction. Be careful with pride, because it can lead to tragedies like this where now 2 people are dead and more to follow us, sadly, guys. Man. Oh, thank you, Alyssa. She knows her word too. Yeah, it was Ezekiel 24:17. But actually it's in other scriptures too. So it might be in Proverbs as well, like you said. So, guys, this tragedy just made me really sad how both of them died, how defensive they were, how they had no power to protect themselves. Man, because they were sowing the seeds that summoned death unto them on both sides. I mean, both individuals were wrong, because in reality, even though young Dolph didn't deserve to die, he kind of summoned it to him because he was starting the beef with the songs that he did and was taunting Yo Gotti multiple times through interviews and multiple songs, and just, you know, taunting this man and taunting his record label instead of just taking the high road. Even though Yo Gotti probably had an issue with him rejecting him, you know, rejecting the label and not joining the label, and was prideful about the competitive nature of both parties in Memphis and who was the king of rap in Memphis or who was the king of Memphis, whatever. But I think if young Dolph moved smart and didn't taunt this man as well, and even if he didn't taunt him, he shouldn't deserve to get killed either. So who does that? Like killing somebody over some words, seriously, over a song. You got your emotions that bothered over a song, Yo Gotti, seriously, get some help. Get some help, Yo Gotti, because you're going to have a target on your back, mister, for the rest of your life. And the moment you get caught slipping, they're going to take this dude out. So he going to have to be careful and be on his, you know, and Angela Simmons is out here, you know, floating around with this man like it's cute. And she already lost a baby daddy over the same type of situation. These women don't learn. I'm telling you, people do not learn. And like I was telling you, well, who you affiliate with and who you associate with can lead to your own demise. And now we have Angela Simmons out here who has not learned her lesson from her last situation with her last man. She out here associated with this man who is in the hot seat. This man and her ended up, and this happened to my friend, y'all. This happened to my friend. My friend was a good Christian woman. She loved God. She didn't get in any type of mess. She was always at church. She was the niece of my pastor. A beautiful young lady. But she ended up getting with a gangster similar to Yo Gotti. And that man was in some straight mess. Okay, the man was in some mess. He was in gang activity, drug stuff. And she was out with him one day and they ambushed him, shot him up and shot her up too. So these people out here who are ready to take somebody's life, they don't care who you are or who you are with. They will take out everybody. So Miss Angela Simmons, these women don't learn. She out here thinking this is cute now. My man, my man. And if she ends up going to this funeral over Big Jook, guys, we might be back here again in a few weeks or so. If he doesn't move smart, he's going to have to move strategically, because what they did was bait this man right back to Memphis. It's a bait. They took out his brother. He has to go back to Memphis for the funeral. What do you think they're going to do, guys? They are ready to go. They are going to be waiting around. They're going to be looking at all of his siblings' social media, ready for them to announce when this funeral is going to be, where is it going to be. And this time, if he doesn't have the right security, they're going to take him out too, and probably whoever's around him, family members and everybody. So they better have law enforcement. I mean, surrounding that entire place. Not a street dude. Street security is not sufficient. They need law enforcement. They need, police cars, everything surrounding that funeral. Because if he thinks he's going to move with just a little street dude, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. They baited this man right back to Memphis because of his brother. You don't think they're going to take him out? They know who was the very source of why this man, young Dolph, was taken out. It was Yo Gotti. This whole situation centered around Yo Gotti. So you know they want to get the head honcho. So I'm telling y'all, they don't care. Like Alyssa said, they do not care who is around. So Miss Angela, she not gonna learn, y'all. She not gonna learn. Right, like Alyssa said, heavy law enforcement because they coming for him. They right. I'm telling you, just sit back and watch the whole thing and be praying that Yo Gotti is a smart dude. Just pray that this man is as smart as he's been acting in this whole young Dolph thing where he hasn't. Sorry, young Dolph. I'm so sorry. I should not. I said his name wrong, and I don't want to disrespect this beautiful soul like that. That's just so messed up. He seemed like a really cool dude too. That's just, oh man. Oh, poor young Dolph. Dang. Just a sweet man out here trying to just do something for his mom. And you know his mom has to live with that guilt for the rest of her life because she's the one that asked him to go get the cookies. So for the rest of her life, his mom will forever blame herself for her son's death, even though it's not her fault. But she will forever blame herself. Like, man, I should have never asked him to go get those cookies. Man, now my son's dead. So it's like so many people are hurt over this. But like I said, y'all, just sit back and watch, because if Mr. Yo Gotti don't move smart, which he did move smart in the situation. See, Yo Gotti is a smart dude, I'm telling you, because he knew he had to get out of Memphis. Notice how he did not attend that repass. It wasn't just because of the weather. People say that he left because of that weather. I don't think so. I think he knew. He knows that Memphis is a hot seat. He knows that he's not welcome there and that people want his head. He knows that. That's why he left so fast. He already was acting kind of weird at the funeral. You just see how he was kind of stepping back. He wasn't even really looking at the body of his uncle. He kind of was just on edge, in my opinion, just kind of how I observed it. I seen how Big Jook had his guard down, really just immersed in his uncle, wanted to look at the body, just really there, present, mentally present at the scene. Something about Yo Gotti, he just gave me a vibe of him just really on edge and uncomfortable. That's the vibe I got. And I might be wrong on the vibe. But anyway, my vibe tells me he looked like he was on edge and he was already on his guard and he was ready to get the heck out of Memphis. As soon as that funeral was over, he's like, forget the food. I'm out of here. I'm not welcomed here in this town. Smart dude. So he's going to have to move that way in this Big Jook funeral. But I'm telling you, all the camps are sitting here watching that family's profile, all their social media. There's going to be one of them family members that's going to open a big mouth. Hopefully not. I hope they're smart this time, y'all, but somebody always has to open a big mouth. I don't know why. Hopefully, just pray, y'all. Hopefully somebody is smart in that family and they don't announce it. But if somebody slips up and announces that location, drops the location, they don't even have to put it on social media, because here's what happened. Word of mouth. One of those family members tells somebody in Memphis tells another person, and it's like telephone. It gets back to the killers. And what are they going to do? They're going to be camping out at that funeral, ready to target Yo Gotti and whoever's around him. They don't care. So the only way Yo Gotti is going to be safe, and Miss Angela Simmons, who's going to be right by his side and end up unalive too, right along with him, if they don't move smart, they better have law enforcement. I don't care about this street security. They better have law enforcement. I don't care if you have a rap label and you got to put your little gangsta image up and you don't want to look like a softie because you have law enforcement. If you're trying to live, if you are trying to live, you better have law enforcement. I mean, packing that entire outer location, packing the room. And you know what? They probably will, because if they haven't found out who the suspect is by now, law enforcement usually always goes to the funeral because they know that the suspects will show up to the funeral. So I predict law enforcement is going to be there anyway, whether or not Yo Gotti invites them, because they're going to go and look in the pews trying to find suspicious people who attend the funeral to see if they can find the suspect in the crowd. So actually, you know, I'll strike what I said because I already know law enforcement's going to go there if they haven't already figured out who the suspect is. So yeah, law enforcement's going to be there anyway. So whoever does do a stupid move to try to attempt to unalive Yo Gotti at this funeral, they're going to get caught because law enforcement is going to be there. They may not come all in the open with their uniform on, but they're going to come undercover and they're going to be watching the audience to find anyone who looks out of place, to see who comes to that funeral, because they already know that people are coming for Yo Gotti. So Strike that, y'all. They're already gonna have all law enforcement there. I highly doubt Yo Gotti will be touched at this funeral. I highly doubt it, because what they know about the war, law enforcement, feds are involved right now. This is probably even a RICO case by now. So yeah, guys, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. Law enforcement will be there. All right, guys, I wanted to just talk about this case. I know you guys are already familiar with it. It's been plastered all over the news, but I just wanted to come here to say, don't be celebrating people's death. Don't join into the celebration of anyone's death on any side. Both sides had their part to play, and nobody deserves to die. And we're all going to die one day, every last one of us. And just think about how you would want to be treated when you are passed away. Do you want somebody out here laughing and mocking your death? No. So just treat people how you would want to be treated. If you don't have anything nice to say, pray for the family and keep it moving. But I'm just saying, if you're my viewer, please do not join in any celebrations of anybody's death. Just pray for the dead. Learn from the stories. That's why we do these stories, to learn some type of lesson so that we can save someone else's life. That's the whole motive behind sharing these stories in the first place, to figure out, okay, what is the lesson can we learn from this story, and how can we warn other people and live a life that can prolong our life on this earth, at least so that we're not unalived prematurely by somebody or even ourselves, because of depression. So that was the whole point of talking about this, guys. Thank you, Alyssa. Alyssa says, that's right. Compassion goes a long way. Amen, girl. Yeah, but they did summon it to them. But should we step in and celebrate? No, we should not. Just pray for them. It's sad. It's just sad how these men, their last moments on their earth, and then the mom had to see it too. Dang. The mom had to see her boy, the son that she gave birth to, that she carried in her womb, y'all, for 9 months, that she seen grow up in her house. I don't care how bad this dude was to anybody who knew him or people who don't like him. But the mom has to mourn the death of her son. And he has kids too. Like, the kids don't get to tell their dad. Same thing with young Dolph. He has kids and his mom. So it's like, just stop celebrating people's death. Like, think about the bigger picture. Think about people who are mourning a family member. Please do not participate in these celebrations. Pray and keep it moving. And if you don't have nothing to say, that's going to be showing condolences, don't say nothing at all. Just learn from it. Figure out, okay, what did they do wrong in this situation, and how can I learn from it? Number 1, be careful with your words. Don't be out here taunting people, because that whole saying, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me, is a lie. Especially when it comes to men or women. People are very sensitive about words, and that can lead to somebody's death. So be careful with your words. Really think before you speak. Have patience and really, really, think, is these words something that is going to help a situation or not? Don't get into social media battles with people that you don't like, or confrontations on the road. Be careful. Pride comes before a man's destruction. Be careful with your pride, because that can lead to destruction in so many ways. That's what we can learn from this. And the third thing is, don't celebrate people's death, period, even if they summoned that death unto them. Instead, learn from their life and do better. Okay? I love y'all. Take care. Toodaloo.